In a lengthy study by Mother Jones magazine, they found that at least 38 of the 61 mass shooters in the past 3 decades have quote-unquote displayed signs of mental health problems prior to the killings. They also say that gun-free zones have been the most popular response to previous mass killings, but many law enforcement officials say they are actually counterproductive and they force civilians to be in a helpless victim zone. With just one exception, the attack on Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords in Tucson in 2001, every public shooting since at least 1950 in the U.S. in which more than 3 people have been killed has taken place where citizens are not allowed to carry guns.
Between exits 10 and 11, right between those two exits is where this school is located.
No, I feel safer. It's like if someone broke in, teachers just like, no.
I probably wouldn't feel threatened if they checked out.
I wouldn't feel threatened if we had higher security staff, but if teachers were given guns, I'd feel kind of threatened because I would feel like sometimes when they get mad, they try and pull a gun on a student or they would threaten to kill someone.
Probably not. It'd be awkward, but I wouldn't feel threatened.
Why or why not?
Well, I mean, we have a cop here right now with a gun that she carries around. It's no different, just more.
All right.
Nope.
Why?
Feel safe.
Why not?
Because I feel like we're protected better than we are.
No, I'd probably feel more safe about it.
Yeah, probably.
Why do you think you'd feel threatened?
Because, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, even sane people can go insane sometimes, and having like a lot of people with guns to, I mean, people can just come up and steal a gun, and that's even bigger threat, so.
I think that there are definitely pros and cons to that situation. I think there's training that needs to be involved. I think there's safety measures that would have to be considered. I think ultimately all options need to be looked at when you're considering the safety of our students. If that looks to be a way that's going to keep them more safe, it definitely needs to be considered. If not, then maybe not. I don't know enough about the research so far to show that, but I think if it is considered, it would have to be done very thoughtfully and not rashly and jump into it. And like I said, definitely training and safety measures would have to be put in place to be around that sort of situation.
All right. Fine, I'm not against them.
Probably not, no. It matters like how they handled it. If they like kept them on them or had them in like a locked box, then it would be hard for people.
Again, I think that'd be definitely one of the safety things we'd have to think about. Where are they going to be kept? Is it in a locked drawer? Is it just on the teacher's desk? I mean, there would have to be some sort of way to standardize that procedure. And I think that would, I mean, obviously you don't want something like that happening where a student would actually get a hold of it and become more of a safety hazard than a safety measure. So that would be one of the things that would have to be considered.
They could be found if a teacher hid them in a drawer that they weren't thinking of, but if they really hid it, then the student really wouldn't try and find it if they didn't know about it.
Yeah. No, because I think the teachers would, like, unless the teacher didn't know what they were doing, then it might happen.
Probably not if like they kept them on them, or like if they had them in like their desk or something, hidden and locked up, not just out in the open.
Or get to them.
Probably.
If I'm a parent. Second of all, we go through extensive training every year for our whole careers about how to shoot in crowd type situations. The majority of the people, even if they know how to handle guns, are used to out hunting or target shooting, and that's completely different than shooting in a situation like, let's say somebody walked into the foyer and started shooting with all of the students and staff around. Because once that round leaves the end of your gun, you have no idea where it's going to end up. And so I'm in charge of that. I mean, I have to be held liable for that. So target and hunting is completely different than shooting in an active shooter situation where you've got multiple civilians around that could get shot.
Here's what's new tonight at 11, the first pictures of the teenager suspected of opening fire on a high school near Atlanta, Georgia. Good evening. This shooting comes exactly 1 month to the day after the deadly shooting in Colorado.
Here's the very latest. Tonight, 6 students are recovering from gunshot wounds. The 15-year-old suspect is charged as a juvenile with aggravated assault, but tonight prosecutors say they plan to charge him as an adult. This shooting has stunned the community of Conyers, Georgia. News 2 reporter Lou Young has the latest live from the scene. Lou?
The young...
There's 2 students two in bad shape in the cafeteria.
For the first time locally, we're hearing the 911 tape from 10 years ago when a 15-year-old boy walked into Thurston High School and changed history.
Okay, we have that the suspect may be a Kip Kinkle, so I just want you to be aware of that, so if you see this person, you can get down.
When Kip Kinkle opened fire, he cut 2 young lives short, injured 25 of their students, emotionally wounded a generation of young people. Today, silence and a wreath helped Thurston remember that we not only mourned, we mobilized to take care of the survivors and fight against violence.
Yeah, if there are more officers, then yeah.
Probably.
To an extent, because I don't think that some teachers, given like the possibility if someone came in with a gun, would use them correctly because they'd be too scared, but some of them might.
Probably.
I do. Unfortunately, the problem with that is the all-American dollar. If you put armed police officers in every high school and middle school, it would cost the nation billions of dollars a year.
Yeah, but at the same time, no, because teachers still like to walk around and talk and watch over the students. And the officers would end up getting into a lot of fights because of how many students like to fight in the school. It's not really worth it because we could just get a hired staff that's already trained and...
Do you think the cost associated with that would be worth it? Keep the school safe?
Probably, because then we wouldn't really have to hire or train our staff and spend more money getting them all the equipment, getting them all the training. We just have someone that is already trained for it.
Probably not. I mean, it'd be helpful for like school shootings and stuff probably, but I feel like by the time a cop would get there, it like would be like the damage would have been done, and it's probably really expensive.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you look at the long run of possibilities, it'd be better safe than sorry, right?
Some of them, because like since all this stuff's been happening, there like a bunch of killings and stuff, it might be worth it for some of them, but for some teachers, they still wouldn't use it given the circumstances.
I think if it can save the life of any student, it's definitely worth it. And again, maybe not making it mandatory or maybe making it optional. You know, that would have to be something that'd be looked at maybe district by district, since there is no national really way of doing something like that. State by state, district by district. I think it shouldn't necessarily be thrown off the table though.
That, no, because they are not trained for it. And if they were to get into a firefight, I think they wouldn't know what to do.
I don't think that anybody can really handle it, and like, I mean, I think that's something that nobody can like be trained to handle.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah, if they're training and stuff.
All right, thank you.
Maybe.
All right, thank you.
I wouldn't have a problem with that so long as they had very extensive and ongoing training. But not everybody who knows how to shoot a firearm would I be comfortable with in a situation like Kennedy when you're talking almost 2,000 people in the building.
I feel like if I was in a situation where I would need to defend myself or my students, I would much rather have something to defend myself with. I'm not particularly great at firearms. I've been around them before. But again, maybe with more training, that would be personally something hopefully I would feel more comfortable with. But again, just knowing that I had some thing to defend my classroom with might be helpful, rather than especially this classroom, getting stuck somewhere with no exit could be a problem. So.